In the name of Allah, the most merciful and the most beneficent. Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome to lecture 2. This lecture is from the book Intermediate English for grade 12 and we are reading Unit 1 and under Unit 1 we are reading section 1.2 and the title of this section is Jinnah's Vision of Pakistan. So today's lecture we will be reading from page number 21, paragraph number 2. Now here, if you see these two marks, these are called as quotation marks, which means that we are now reading the words of Quaid-e-Azam, the original speech that Quaid-e-Azam has delivered. We are reading the original words of Quaid-e-Azam's speech. In the previous lecture, lecture 1, we talked about the background that where Quaid-e-Azam is delivering this speech on which occasion. So we know that Quaid-e-Azam has delivered this address, presidential address, on the occasion of Constituent Assembly, dated 11th August 1947. So now we will be reading the original wordings of Quaid-e-Azam through this speech. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen. Now Quaid-e-Azam has traditionally, or you can say formally, has started his speech and he is saying that Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, and now this mark, this is called as exclamation mark. Normally it is used as the sign for surprise, happiness or sadness, but here we can say that this is used in a sense of attention. Quaid-e-Azam is seeking the attention of the people who are there on the occasion of this Constituent Assembly. Okay, I cordially thank you with the utmost sincerity for the honor you have conferred upon me. The greatest honor that is possible to confer by electing me as your first president. Now Quaid-e-Azam is saying that I cordially means that I, from the core of my heart, am thanking you. Why Quaid-e-Azam is thanking the people? With the utmost sincerity. Now Quaid-e-Azam is saying that I am thanking you with my truthfulness, with my, you can say that genuineness, or with you can say that with the trustworthiness, or it means that Quaid-e-Azam is saying that I am thanking you sincerely, truthfully for the honor. He is thanking them for what? For the honor that they have conferred upon Quaid-e-Azam. Now the people have given Quaid-e-Azam, grant Quaid-e-Azam any honor. And what is that honor? That they have elected Quaid-e-Azam as the first president. Now they have shown, this is Quaid-e-Azam is saying that the greatest honor that is possible to confer, which means that electing Quaid-e-Azam is the greatest honor that people could have done to like Quaid-e-Azam, or people could have grant to Quaid-e-Azam. So by electing Quaid-e-Azam, this is the greatest honor that people have shown Quaid-e-Azam, and for which Quaid-e-Azam is from his core of heart, he is thanking the people. I also thank those leaders who have spoken in appreciation of my service and their personal preference to me. Now Quaid-e-Azam is saying that he is also thankful to the leaders. Which leaders? Those leaders who have appreciated, means that they have talked good, or they have talked good about Quaid-e-Azam regarding Quaid-e-Azam's services, and their personal reference to me means that they have consulted Quaid-e-Azam, they have given the reference of Quaid-e-Azam that Quaid-e-Azam is doing good work, Quaid-e-Azam is doing good work for the benefit of Muslims of India, or Quaid-e-Azam is struggling for the Muslims of India. So they have somehow talked good about Quaid-e-Azam, so Quaid-e-Azam is also thanking those leaders. I sincerely hope that with your support and with your cooperation, we shall make this Constituent Assembly an example to the world. Now Quaid-e-Azam is saying that I trust you people, or you can say that I have a faith that if you people are going to support, if the people, those who are sitting in the Constituent Assembly, if they are going to give their support to Quaid-e-Azam and they are giving their judgments, or they are going to give their suggestions to Quaid-e-Azam, so together with those people and Quaid-e-Azam, they are going to make a good Constituent Assembly, or you can say a set of rules and regulations that will be an example to the whole world. The Constituent Assembly has got two important functions to perform. The first is the very onerous and responsible task of framing the future Constitution of Pakistan, and the second of functioning as a full and complete sovereign body as the Federal Legislature of Pakistan. Now Quaid-e-Azam is saying that though we have gathered together to form a Constituent Assembly, we are making rules and regulations. So the first rule that we people as a Constituent Assembly we are supposed to do is that we shall frame the future Constitution. Now Constituent Assembly, as in the previous lecture I have explained, that is a set of people, or a body or a committee that is having the elected people, the representatives, who together make the set of rules and regulations for the upcoming country or for running the country. So here Quaid-e-Azam is saying that the first thing that we should do is that we should make those rules and regulations for our country, for Pakistan. And the second task that Quaid-e-Azam is going to give to the Constituent Assembly is that Pakistan should now act as an independent country. Sovereign body as the Federal Legislature of Pakistan means that now Pakistan, a country that we have struggled for, that we have come up with, and that we have given people as an independent country, and we have divided the United India. So it means that if we have divided, we have come up with a country. Now it is our responsibility to act as sovereign, means that to act as an independent body who has no influence of any other external force. So we should act as a sovereign body as Federal Legislature of Pakistan, and we should be like acting as an independent country who is going to have its own set of rules and regulations, and who is also going to rule the whole world. We have to do the best we can in adopting a provisional constitution for the Federal Legislature of Pakistan. Now it means that the first task, we will be making rules and regulations for our country. The second is we should act as an independent country. Now the third rule that Quaid-e-Azam is saying that, or you can say that the third thing that Quaid-e-Azam is forcing the people to think over is that we should adopt a provisional constitution, means that a timely constitution which can be changed, or you can say that which will be implemented later on when it is decided or when it is approved by the higher authorities. So Quaid-e-Azam is saying that we should, for the time being, we should make a constitution so that we can run our Federal Legislature of Pakistan. We should now, as he has given the task that you should make a constitution for the future of Pakistan, but before that you should now come up with a constitution so that Pakistan can act as an independent country on the map of the world. You know really that not only we ourselves are wondering, but I think the whole world is wondering at this unprecedented cyclonic revolution. Now Quaid-e-Azam is saying that the birth of Pakistan, the birth of India, it is it's a kind of surprise that has come up, and we all, not only the rest of the world, it means that the whole world is surprised by the unprecedented cyclonic revolution. Means that it has never occurred before. This revolution is any fast change, you can say. So Qaeda is saying that this fast change has given a lot of shock to the people, given a lot of surprise to the people, not only to us, like we are part of this country, we have come up with an independent country, but this is a surprise for us also, and the whole world is wondering at this revolution, at this sudden change, which has brought about the plan of creating and establishing two independent sovereign domains in subcontinent. Now Qaeda is saying that why the world is wondering, why we ourselves we are surprised, because we have established, we have created two independent countries in the subcontinent. Now the United India is divided into two parts, that is India and Pakistan. So the whole world is surprised because of this thing, this revolution, this sudden change, and we ourselves, we are also surprised of this sudden change. As it has been unprecedented. There is no parallel in history of the world. This mighty subcontinent with all kinds of inhabitants has been brought under a plan which is titanic, unknown, unparalleled. Simply, Qaeda is saying that if we look back into history, there is no such example where you can say that where such diverse country has emerged, or where such diverse group of people they have emerged, or they have successfully gained independence. That is why the whole world is wondering. The mighty subcontinent with all kinds of inhabitants means that the subcontinent is a home for different kind of people, Christian, Muslim, Hindus, different sort of people, they are living here. But this like this change, this sudden revolution, this sudden change, it has given a huge, titanic means huge, and unparalleled means which has no other example in the history, or which cannot be equalized to something else. So Qaeda is saying that this large, mighty means a big, large subcontinent which has got different inhabitants. It is a huge country. It has a different history. It has got a different image on the globe. But this has given birth to two independent countries. So this cannot be equalized to anything that has occurred in the past. In the history of the world, this is new thing. This is sudden change, and that is why everybody is surprised due to this sudden change. And what is very important with regards to it is that we have achieved it peacefully and by the means of an evolution of the greatest possible character. Now he is saying that he is giving the reason that why everybody is wondering, because the country that have emerged, they have emerged very peacefully and by the means of an evolution of the greatest possible character, which means that the origin of the birth of India and Pakistan, it might have not been possible. Why? Because there are different people living under the same country or under the same roof. There are living peoples with different cultures, with different historical background. So it might not have been possible to do such change, but with the greatest struggle, or with your support, with your efforts, we have come up with two different greatest possible characters. Mean that we have come up with two countries, and those countries we have achieved peacefully without any war, without the involvement of any other thing. We have peacefully achieved two independent countries. Dealing with our first function in this assembly, I cannot make any well considered pronouncement at this moment, but I shall say a few things as they occur to me. Now, as he has given two different functions to the Constituent Assembly, the first one is framing the Constitution. So he is saying that dealing with our first function in this assembly, the first task that we are supposed to do in this assembly, I cannot make any well-considered pronouncement at this moment, but I shall say a few things as they occur to me. Now, pronouncement means that an official or authoritative statement or announcement. So Qaid-e-Azam is saying that as we are gathered here, as we are together here, we are deciding the future constitution. So I think this is the best occasion that I should give you some pronouncements, some official statements that are coming to my mind. Like Qaid-e-Azam is saying that they are not the ultimate, but yes, regarding this occasion, by looking at the you can say हम जो कहते हैं मौके की मुनासिबत को देखकर, so he is saying that few things that occur to me, so those things that are coming to Qaid-e-Azam's mind, he is trying to share those points with the people. The first and the foremost thing that I would like to emphasize is this: remember that you are now a sovereign legislative body and you have got all powers. Now Qaid-e-Azam is saying that, as I am going to talk about different things, but the first and very most important, foremost means that you can say that the first in place or the place or rank, the primary or the chief important thing that I would like to discuss is that, or I emphasize means that I am trying to bring it under your consideration, or you can say highlight, I want to highlight it, that the first thing that everybody who is here should know that we are now a sovereign legislative body, which means that we are now independent body who can make their own rules and regulations, and you have got all the power, means you have got the power to make to come up with your own rules and regulations, and you can act as an independent country. It therefore places on you the gravest responsibility as to how you should take your decision. Now it means that because you are now independent country, because you people now can act as an independent country, you have got your power, it is therefore places on the gravest responsibility, means that it is now the gravest responsibility, means that it is the extremely serious responsibility. Gravest means serious, you can say seriously, or you can say of great significance. So now it is the serious responsibility as to how you should take your decision. Now being independent doesn't mean that you act foolishly. You are now independent, you have come up with a country, you have make up your own country. So this is your first task, to take your decisions very seriously. You should observe each and everything, and then you should take your decision. The first observation that I would like to make is this: you will no doubt agree with me. The first duty of a government is to maintain law and order so that the life, property and religious belief of its subjects are fully protected by the state. Now this is, you can say that as I have said earlier in the first lecture, that this is the gist or summary of the text, that Qaid-e-Azam was talking about the religious independence. So Qaid-e-Azam is saying that because they have just come up with a history. In what kind of history? That Muslims who were living in subcontinent, they were not having independence of acting independently, they were not having religious freedom, और उनको कोई आज़ादी नहीं थी कि वो अपने religious practices को करें. So Qaid-e-Azam is saying that the first observation that I have come up, the first observation they have observed themselves. So he is saying that we were not allowed to have our religious beliefs, or you can say that we were not allowed to practice our religious practices. We were not having any security regarding our life and property. So Qaid-e-Azam is saying that you will no doubt agree with me, the first duty of government is to maintain law and order. So Qaid-e-Azam is saying that I think, or what I believe is that all of you who are sitting here, you will agree with me that if we are making a country, if we are making a federal legislature, so the first task of the government, the first task of the newly born, you can say, country is that it should maintain law and order, which means it should be careful regarding making decisions, and it should make sure that the life, property and religious belief of the people, subjects mean the people who are there in the country, are fully protected by the state. State is again, you can say, a piece of land which is going to have a certain amount of population over there, and those population, they are going to have their own government, means that they are going to have their own rules and regulations. So if Pakistan has emerged as a state with an amount of population, with a piece of land, and again with its own rules and regulations, so its first task is to protect the life, property and religious belief of the people who are part of this piece of land. Okay. The second thing that occurred to me is this: one of the biggest curses from which India is suffering, I do not say that other countries are free from it, but I think our condition is much worse, is bribery and corruption. Now Qaid-e-Azam is saying that the first thing he talked about the protection of life, property and religious belief. The second thing that Qaid-e-Azam is saying that there is a big issue, or you can say curse is something that brings or causes greatest trouble or harm to any country, people or area. So Qaid-e-Azam is saying that one of the biggest harm, one of the biggest trouble that India is suffering from, and Qaid-e-Azam is saying that not only India but other countries are also not free from this harm, from this trouble, from this curse, is of bribery and corruption. Now bribery is when you are going to give money or any property, or you can say thing for like you are asking the person that if you will do my task, I will give you this amount of money, property or any other thing. So this is bribery, simply जिसे हम रिश्वत कहते हैं. And corruption is again wrongdoing, you can say, illegal way of doing things. So Qaid-e-Azam is saying that these are the two harmful things, these are the two trouble-making things that not only India but the whole world is facing. But our condition is much worse, which means that the whole world, if it is having the problem of bribery and corruption, but still they can somehow manage doing things, but we cannot do. That really is a poison, which means if we are not going to avoid this thing today, tomorrow we are going to face many, you can say, trouble. We are going to face lots of things that we cannot overcome in the upcoming 10 to 15 years. We should now try to, you can say, dig out the root of these two bad things, so that our country will nourish. We must put that down with an iron hand, and I hope that you will take adequate measure as soon as it is possible for this assembly to do so. Now Qaid-e-Azam is saying that we must put that with an iron hand, means that we should try our level best so that we can dig out the problem from its root, and we can have a very prosperous country. And Qaid-e-Azam is saying that I hope that you will take adequate measures, means this assembly, this will take the required measurements to finish this bribery and corruption from its root, so that it may not be in future, or it may not occur in the future coming country. The next thing that strikes me is this. Here again is a legacy which has been passed on to us, along with many other things, good and bad, has arrived this great evil, the evil of nepotism and jobbery. I want to make it quite clear that I shall never tolerate any kind of jobbery, nepotism, or any influence directly or indirectly brought to bear upon me. Now, Qaid-e-Azam is saying that the next thing, or you can say that the third thing that strikes me, that hits me, that is coming to my mind, that is a very striking thing, is that we have got a legacy, means that something that is coming from the hand down or received from an ancestor to another one. जो चीज़ एक आबाओ अजदाद से चली आ रही होती है, उस चीज़ को हम legacy कहते हैं. So Qaid-e-Azam is saying that here is a legacy, a tradition which has been passed on to us. This tradition is this tradition has started somewhere in the past, and it is now passing from one generation to another generation, and it has now came to us. So what is this thing that is like it has got good things, and it is also going to have bad things, but this thing is of great evil, an evil of nepotism and jobbery. Now nepotism is when like favoritism, you can say favoritism shown to relatives or close friends by those with power or influence. So when nepotism occurs, for example, if I am the let's say I am the Prime Minister, or I am the MNA MPA, tomorrow without any election, if I am going to transfer my powers to my children or my neighbors or my friends, this is called nepotism. And jobbery is somehow again related to nepotism, but jobbery is the practice of making private personal profit out of a public office through corruption, or you can say illegal ways. So jobbery is again taking benefits from the country's resources for personal uses. So if you remember, we have discussed in the previous lecture that things that Qaid-e-Azam discussed in his speech are somehow now in the real country, the Pakistan of today's Pakistan. So yes, you can see nepotism in today's Pakistan, you can see bribery, you can see the corruption, and you can also see jobbery. These four of them, they are the major practices of Pakistani politicians, not only politicians but every Pakistani who lives over here. So this is a kind of routine practice of now every person. So what Qaid-e-Azam was trying to give an image that Pakistan should be free from this, that occurred in an opposite way, that Pakistan is not free from this thing, Pakistan is full of these things. I want to make it quite clear that I shall never tolerate any kind of jobbery, nepotism, or any influence directly or indirectly brought to bear upon me. Now Qaid-e-Azam is saying that I don't know about rest of the people, what they are doing, what they will do, what they intend to do, but personally I will not tolerate, I will not be in favor of doing this jobbery and corruption. I personally don't like doing jobbery, nepotism, and I will not be under the influence directly or indirectly, which means that if Qaid-e-Azam is going to be the Governor General, and if let's suppose the prime minister or president, they are going to force Qaidism to do certain things. So Qaidism is saying that I am not in favor of doing these things. Directly means that if they are requesting me, if they are asking me to do this thing, I am not going to do it. Indirectly means that if even they are forcing me to do this thing, I am not going to do this thing, because I don't like jobbery, I don't like nepotism, and these are things which I will not tolerate, means that they are not bearable in my country. Whenever I will find that such a practice is in a voyage or is continuing anywhere, low or high, I shall certainly not countenance it. It means that I am personally not doing this, I am not in favor of this, I don't like these practices, and even if if I came to know about this thing, that somewhere other way or any other place these things are occurring, whether it is in high position or low position, high level or low level, I will not tolerate it, I will not countenance it. Countenance means that when we like Qaidism is saying that I will not bear it, I am not in favor of it, so I will not allow any other person to do it. And voyage means that you can say a period of popularity or something that is in fashion. So if Qaidism is saying that even if such practice is in fashion in somewhere other countries or other part of the world, I am not going to allow it, I personally don't like it, so I will not favor this practice, this fashion in my country. And these are, you can say that the set rules of Qaidism, that he is not in favor of nepotism, he is not in favor of jobbery, he is not in favor of bribery, he is not in favor of corruption. So this is all about the speech. We will discuss the other part of the speech in our next lesson. Thank you so much. I wish you all I hope that you have somehow understood what I have taught you. Thank you.